everybody. Welcome back to another video. And today we are doing our review for week 9. Week 9 of the NFL season. Next week is going to be my last week being able to use my hands to demonstrate what week it is. So I'm going to have to make the most of that and get real handsy next week. Anyway, just sort of giving a preliminary look at some of these games and what I know about how some of these games turned out. I can tell this was a really bad week. A bad week for me and my predictions here. Alright, let's get into it. Starting with, I said the Patriots would beat the Colts. And they did. And I believe that with that victory, Bill Belichick is now in sole possession of the second most all-time coaching wins in the NFL. I think he was tied for it last week, and then with this week he now has sole possession. But it might have happened the week before, I'm not sure. Final score is Colts 3, Patriots 26. Sam Ehlinger, starting for the Colts, gets 15 completions on 29 attempts, 103 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, really bad QB rating of 45.6. Mac Jones doesn't really have that stellar of a game either. 20 completions on 30 attempts, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Unfortunately for Ehlinger, young quarterback, his 1 interception was a pick 6. But the more interesting stories around this game comes after the game is over. After this game, Frank Reich was fired as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and that would be fine. That would be understandable. It is understandable. They have massively underperformed compared to expectations that they had coming into this season. But the issue is sort of coming about with who they hired to replace him. You have this tweet from Schefter. Colts are naming their former 6-time Pro Bowl center and ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday as their interim head coach. Saturday has been a consultant for the team, is in its Ring of Honor, and also was head coach for the Hebron Christian Academy football team in Dacula, Georgia. And this is a bit of a head scratcher as far as a head coach goes, because you have this other tweet here from Yates. As best as I can tell, Jeff Saturday becomes the first person in NFL history to be named a head coach without any coaching experience at either the NFL or college level. So this guy has never coached football beyond a high school level before, and he's now going in to coach at the highest level. Professional athletes with egos that need to be managed. The highest, most elite level defenses and offenses he'll be going against some of the best coaches, not even some of the best football coaches in the world. And he has no experience, and the worst part is that the Colts have 2 guys with coaching experience sitting right there in their carousel, and they're not getting promoted to head coach. They're just bringing in an ex-player. Absolutely shocking move. I don't really understand what they're thinking with this. Like, this is not a winning move, if the team wants to improve, if they're upset because their previous head coach was not getting the results that they wanted, bring in a high school coach. Like, yeah, he was a player, but that doesn't mean he's going to be a good coach. And I kind of feel bad for Colts fans with this. Like, it's certainly a decision. I don't think this is gonna go well. I think that this is gonna just completely torpedo the rest of the Colts season. Just a real head scratcher of a move there. Anyway, next up, I said the Bills would beat the Jets, and I am shocked to report, absolutely shocked to report, that the Jets beat the Bills. And bad news, Josh Allen is injured. Final score 20-17 in favor of the Jets. Josh Allen goes 18 completions on 34 attempts for 205 yards. He has 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and I think his lowest quarterback rating of this season at a 46.8. Josh Allen did have 2 rushing touchdowns, though, and one of them was like a 40-yarder, so, you know, he did get 2 touchdowns, but nothing through the air. That vaunted New York Jets defense held him to no touchdowns, 2 picks. Zach Wilson in the win gets 18 completions on 25 attempts, 154 yards, 1 TD, 0 interceptions. Jets win by 3. And, Bills quarterback Josh Allen is being evaluated for an elbow injury to his ulnar collateral ligament and related nerves, per source. Bills coach Sean McDermott said earlier that the team hopes to have more info on Tuesday, so I guess we'll find out tomorrow if this is going to be something serious or not. But if it is a UCL injury, he's probably out for this season. I think that's Tommy John's. Like, I'm pretty sure the UCL surgery, that's Tommy John's. And if that is the case, that completely shakes up the landscape of the NFL season. I think at this point, the Bills were the favorites to make the Super Bowl, if not outright the favorites to win it. But Josh Allen going down, they're going to take a serious step back. They're going to have a trouble. They might not even make the playoffs if Josh Allen is out hurt. And this comes after losing a game by 3 to a team that they were favored to beat by 10.5 points. This is like one of the biggest upset losses of the season so far. Just an absolute disaster of a game for the Buffalo Bills. Alright, next up, I said the Jaguars would beat the Raiders. This was one of my upset games that I picked, which I'm going to talk about me picking upset games here in a minute when we get to this other game, but I got that one right. I'm very happy to see that one. I got it right. Final score 27-20 in favor of the Jaguars. This was a game Las Vegas was favored in, but I don't know, I just had a feeling that the Raiders wouldn't be competitive in this game. I haven't trusted them all season. Derek Carr, 21 completions, 36 attempts, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Trevor Lawrence, 25 completions, 31 attempts, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Just really solid game, honestly, from both teams. This one could have gone either way. It was back and forth pretty much the whole way, but the Raiders got shut out in the complete second half. And I think that's happened to the Raiders a couple times this season. I feel like I've mentioned a few weeks now the Raiders not being able to get points on the board in the third and the fourth quarters. Maybe I'm misremembering and I've been talking about other teams, but I feel like this is a pattern now that I'm kind of noticing, that the Raiders just cannot get any offense going in the second half of the games. I don't know, let me know if I'm onto something there. I haven't really been paying close enough attention, but I feel like I've mentioned that a few times now with the Raiders. Chiefs versus the Titans. I said the Chiefs would win, and wow, this game was a lot closer than I thought it would be. But Chiefs get the win 20-17 over the Titans. I think there was some stat about Patrick Mahomes in this game. Let me find it. Is it? Yeah, you go to overtime. I think. Hold on, let me check the recap here. I thought it was Patrick Mahomes. Broke the record for most passes in a single game with 68. But I need to see if that's the case. NFL most passes in a game. Oh no, he's third. Okay, so Drew Bledsoe holds the record with 70. Patrick Mahomes had 68 in this game, so he almost broke the record. That's what it was. But yeah, I mean, Kansas City was a 13.5-point favorite this game. You don't have Ryan Tannehill, and the Chiefs have been rolling, so they were expected to absolutely steamroll the Titans. 13.5-point favorites the Chiefs were. They were expected to steamroll the Titans, and they only beat them by 3, and that's after going into overtime against the Titans. Malik Willis for the Titans, 5 completions on 16 attempts, 80 yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, 43 completions on 68 attempts, 446 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Derrick Henry, though, was an absolute monster this game. 115 yards on 17 carries, 2 touchdowns, back-to-back TDs in the second quarter. Honestly, the problem for the Chiefs here came in the first. The Chiefs were dominant possession-wise in the first quarter. They had the ball for 13 out of the 15 minutes in the first quarter, but they only got 1 field goal out of it. You'd have liked to have at least seen 1 or 2 touchdowns in the first quarter if you're holding the ball for all but 2 minutes of that quarter. And then the game got competitive. They actually lost the second quarter. They went into the half down by 5, and then they went into the fourth quarter down by 8. They only tied it in the fourth, but it took a 2-point attempt for the Kansas City Chiefs to tie the game and send to overtime against the Titans with their starting QB out hurt. Definitely a bit of a concerning game for the Chiefs, especially because, the Titans don't have a bad defense, but they definitely aren't one of the best. Let's see, where's the NFL defense rankings? Where's the Titans at right now? So looking at the team rankings for defense, the Titans are 7th. However, they're one of the worst against the pass. The Titans are the 28th worst defense against the pass for passing yards, the 30th worst defense for pass attempts, the 29th worst defense for pass completions, and the 25th worst defense for passing touchdowns. So, you have a QB like Patrick Mahomes who just, obviously threw the ball 68 times. You should be doing a lot more damage to the Titans than that. They can't defend the pass. Now, you're not going to run on them. We saw that. Jerick McKinnon's your best rusher for the Chiefs, and he has 4 yards, right? But especially when you're a 13.5-point favorite. You gotta do something. Alright, now we get to one of the just absurd games this week. I said the Packers would beat the Lions. And again, I'm shocked to report that they didn't. First the Bills, now the Packers. Like, the best QBs in the league just forgot how to play football this week. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 red zone interceptions. 3 of them. All of his interceptions were like touchdown drive passes. All of them got picked. All 3 of them. It's absurd. People are saying that this is the worst game of Aaron Rodgers' career. I haven't been watching football his entire career. I got into it a little bit later in life, so I can't really comment on whether or not that's true. But Aaron Rodgers did have a really, really poor game against this Lions team who honestly should not have been an issue for them. Final score 15-9 in favor of the Lions. You're in Detroit. Aaron Rodgers has 23 completions on 43 attempts, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, like I said, all in the red zone. Jared Goff, 14 completions on 26 attempts, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And honestly, that final drive from the Packers is one of the most baffling things I've ever seen. Aaron Rodgers is slinging it deep to Sammy Watkins, who had been terrible all game long. Like, he had been having trouble running routes. He had been having trouble holding on to the ball. Like, I don't know why Sammy Watkins was your primary target on that play. Should never been going to getting the ball out that way. But the thing is like the Packers had 2 timeouts. They had 2 timeouts, but every single play, it was Rodgers throwing the ball to the end zone. He was trying to get the big hero play. He was trying to get the big touchdown pass. But it's the 4th quarter and you have 2 timeouts. You can run the ball. You can do a short pass. You can do a bubble screen. You can do an RPO. You can do something else. But it was just deep ball, deep ball, deep ball with 2 timeouts. Just going for the touchdown every time instead of just moving the ball, getting a different look, getting a better field position. Maybe you take a run and maybe the runner breaks off, finds a hole, and gets you to the 1-yard line, it was just one of the weirdest coaching decisions I've ever seen. Really weird. I don't know what they were thinking there. I don't know if it was like Rodgers going over his coach's head wanting to make the big play or what, but that was a really baffling end to that game. Alright, next up. Commanders beat the Vikings. I said they would. They don't. The Commanders lose by 3. Final score 20-17 in favor of the Vikings. Kirk Cousins was going off after this game. The videos of Kirk Cousins on the team playing like shirtless. He's got chains on. He's going hard. Craziness. Like I said, final score 20-17 in favor of the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, 22 completions on 40 attempts, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Taylor Heineke, 15 completions on 28 yards, 149 on 28 yards, 15 completions on 28 attempts, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I thought Heineke actually had a pretty good game. Both QBs did. This was actually a really good game to watch. The Commanders continue to play it better than their record shows. But one thing I want to talk about, people were getting after me in my comments saying like I'm hating on the Vikings or whatever because I picked them to lose this. I'm not hating on the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a top 5 team in the NFL. Maybe top 3. I don't really have a number in my head. But if I just pick chalk every single week on my predictions, it'll be boring. Yes, I'll probably get more right, but I enjoy picking upsets because if the upset hits, it's more exciting. The Vikings are one of the best teams in the league. I acknowledge that. I'm not trying to hate on the Vikings. I have nothing against the Vikings. I just like to pick 1, 2, 3 upsets every single week. That's all it is. Don't come after me saying I hate the Vikings. But the big news around this game really is that finally, much to the relief of Washington fans and really sort of NFL fans in general, Dan Snyder is selling the Washington Commanders. Right now it's looking like the ownership is going to be Jeff Bezos partnering up with Jay-Z. I imagine, Jeff Bezos doesn't need the extra investor money, but I imagine Jay-Z would probably be more of the public-facing, part of the ownership group, because people don't really like Jeff Bezos, but people like Jay-Z. So Jay-Z would probably be, doing promotional stuff with the team. He'd be more front and center around the team, which is Jeff Bezos putting up a majority of the money. It's rumored that the team is going to sell for about $8 billion. It's going to be like the most expensive sports team sale of all time. But one news story that came out today is that the owners of Liverpool Football Club in the Premier League are selling the team. They're selling the team for $4 billion. And this is the same group that owns, I believe, the Red Sox and maybe 1 or 2 other teams in Boston. I'm not sure which. They're selling Liverpool for $4 billion. Now, it's not stated that they're wanting to buy the Commanders, but the rumor is that they might be trying to put in a bid for the Commanders. But some people think that they're going to try and buy a NBA team in Las Vegas with LeBron James as an investor as well. So they might be in on the Commanders. They might just be focusing on a Vegas basketball team. We don't know yet, but Commanders are up for sale, and Dan Snyder will no longer be an NFL owner, thankfully. Dude's terrible. Terrible guy. Alright, Seahawks at Cardinals. I said the Seahawks would win, and they did. 31-21 in favor of the Seahawks is your final score. Seahawks now comfortably in that first spot in the NFC West, sitting at 6-3-0. Geno Smith, 26 completions on 34 attempts, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that 1 interception was a pick 6. And that was kind of concerning, because you're like, oh no, Geno, you're kind of having flashbacks of what people say, the problems from Geno's earlier part of his career, but he bounced back. He got his head back in the game, got a TD to Tyler Lockett. And then Kenneth Walker III continues to just be an absolute beast. Some Seahawks fans are giving some flack to the front office for drafting a running back, especially with Penny on the roster. I was one of them, but Kenneth Walker, 109 yards on 26 carries and 2 touchdowns, both of them coming at the end of the game. In a game that you win by 10, Arizona was the favorite. Walker was definitely a difference maker in this game, and I said last week that he might be the offensive rookie of the year. I think as long as he stays healthy and continues this level of production, he might even be able to take a step back. I think he should be the favorite for offensive rookie of the year. Okay. The Los Angeles Rams versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I said the Buccaneers would win, and it took a last-minute play. But they do win. They win by 3, 16-13 in Tampa Bay. Matthew Stafford, 13 completions on 27 attempts, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Tom Brady, 36 completions on 58 attempts, 280 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. And that last touchdown was just like a little 1 yard line. They're right there, dwindling, dying seconds of the game. Little dump pass, and he just extends it out. Boom. Gets it into the end zone. Cade Otton. I think that's one of their tight ends, Cade Otton. But yeah, this game, really low scoring game. You combined for 29 points, but the over-under on this game was 42.5. 42.5. And a lot of people are basically already writing off the Los Angeles Rams season. A lot of people are saying that, the Rams basically have no real shot at the playoffs at this point. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm not sure they're catching either the Seahawks or the Niners, especially with their level of play this season. But a lot of Rams fans, on social media especially, seem very dejected this season. Next up, I said the Eagles would beat the Texans, and the Eagles just continue to dominate. They're still the only undefeated team in the NFL. They are 8-0, and the Houston Texans, honestly, not a terrible game. The interceptions for Mills were a little concerning, but putting up 17 points, a team that's 1-6-1 against this Eagles team has a really good defense, is honestly pretty solid. Yeah, Philadelphia was a 13.5 point favorite, but unlike the other 13.5 point favorite that we saw this week, they actually won their game easily. Jalen Hurts, 21 completions on 27 attempts, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 128.9 QB rating, almost a perfect game from Jalen Hurts. And then Davis Mills, 13 completions on 22 attempts, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yeah, this one was on Amazon Prime Video, so unfortunately I did not get the opportunity to watch this one. As the NFL kind of sequesters out their content and puts it behind different varying paywalls, it does become harder to watch. One thing that I'm excited for is that next season I will be living in another country, so I will not have to deal with blackouts. Like if I get NFL League Pass, I cannot watch Seahawks games because I'm in market, right? But if I live overseas and get NFL League Pass, I can watch the NFL and I can watch any game I want to. So that's pretty exciting. Next up, I said the Bears would beat the Dolphins. They almost did, but they fell just short, 32-35 in favor of the Dolphins. This was a super crazy game. Fields and Tagovailoa both putting up good stats in this game. Fields was scrambling like crazy this game. What was the stat? I think, Justin Fields rushes for 178 yards, breaking the regular season record for rushing yards by a quarterback. Oh, also I need to point out, stepping back to the Buccaneers game for a second, talking about records. Tom Brady has become the first player in NFL history to reach 100,000 combined regular season and playoff passing yards. This is most likely his last season, so I don't anticipate him being able to get 100,000 just in the regular season. It'd probably take a few more years for that, but it's a crazy accomplishment. But also on Justin Fields' behalf, a crazy accomplishment, and his coach had kind of a funny quote after the game. He was like, I told him he needs to stop scrambling so much, but he just won't listen. And we're glad that he didn't listen, because Justin Fields, for as much criticism as I've had for him, especially early in the season, has really kind of come into his own these last 3 or so weeks, and I'm excited to see the Bears next season. I think it might be a little bit too late in the season now for the Bears. They're 3-6 going into week 10. I don't think, their season doesn't seem like it's going to end up in the playoffs, but next season with another offseason of development for Justin Fields, maybe they get some more pieces, because people are going to want to play with completions on 30 attempts, 302 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tua Tagovailoa just killing it through the air. Justin Fields, 17 completions on 28 attempts, 123 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Plus, he also had a 61-yard rushing touchdown. I don't think that's the longest rushing touchdown by a quarterback, but it's one of the longer ones. 61-yard rushing touchdown. What's crazy about this game, though, is the blocked punt, which was returned for a touchdown by the Dolphins. If that doesn't happen, and it so rarely does, like, you can go entire seasons without seeing a blocked punt returned for a touchdown. I think we've had 2 this season so far, though. If that doesn't happen, the Bears actually do win this game, which is pretty crazy. Kind of a fluky play like that. Alright, Bengals versus Panthers. I said the Bengals would win, and they doubled them up 42-21. Going in favor of the Bengals. They were only a 7.5-point favorite, and they doubled up the Panthers' score, beat them by 21 points. Baker Mayfield gets his starting job back, and he goes 14 for 20, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Honestly, this might be Baker's best game of the season so far, which unfortunately isn't really saying much, but he was solid this game. He didn't really make any mistakes. Joe Burrow, 22 completions on 28 attempts, 206 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. And Joe Mixon, have yourself a game. Wow, Joe Mixon had 4 rushing touchdowns in this game and 1 receiving touchdown in this game. And he set the Cincinnati Bengals franchise record for most touchdowns in a single game, obviously with 5, like I just said. But yeah, Mixon, he gets a 2-yard rushing touchdown in the first. He gets a 3-yard rushing touchdown in the second, a 1-yard rushing touchdown in the second, and then a 12-yard receiving touchdown in the second. And then he gets a 14-yard rushing touchdown in the third. Joe Mixon was a monster this game, and it was very, very satisfying to watch. One of the most exciting games I've watched in a while, even though Burrow didn't really do too much this game. 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, 2 little QB sneak, but yeah. And it's cool to see Baker Mayfield have a decent game, but the Bengals killed him. Alright, Chargers at Falcons. I said the Chargers would win. I felt like the Falcons might be able to take it. I wasn't super confident in my pick, but the Chargers do win by 3, 20-17 in favor of them. Justin Herbert, 30 completions on 43 attempts, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Marcus Mariota, 12 completions on 23 attempts, 129 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to watch this game or see much of it, so I don't have too many comments, but yeah, this was one that I thought honestly could go either way. Because the Falcons are coming off a win and all that. I thought maybe their momentum would carry them a little bit, but nope, the Chargers just had just enough to get past them. 2 field goals there in the fourth, a 31-yarder and a 37-yarder. And that's all it took. Alright, now we have the Ravens and the Saints. I said the Ravens would win, and they do get the W. Oops. That's a little embarrassing. They do get the W. 27-13 in favor of the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, have yourself a nice little game here. 12 completions on 22 attempts, 133 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Andy Dalton, 19 completions on 29 attempts, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not a terrible game from Dalton. Kind of a low-scoring game, honestly. 29 27-13. The over-under is 46.5. You combine for 40, so I guess you're missing a touchdown either direction there according to the spread. It's fine. Just seeing that many field goals, especially between these two teams, I kind of felt like the Ravens would maybe do a bit more damage against the Saints here, like maybe 32 plus points against the Saints. I don't know, but there we go. Those are our games for week 9. Out of 13 games, I got 9 correct. Honestly, kind of better than I thought I was going to do. Like, just my preliminary thoughts on this week. I thought I got like 5 or 6 correct, but getting 9 correct, that's pretty good. 9 divided by 13, it gives us 69%. That's pretty nice for 69% this week, meaning we moved to 84.5 out of 136. Yep, 84.5 divided by 136 gives us 62%. So we're slowly climbing up. We are like 1% each week, but we are slowly getting better. So far for the NFL season, I am 62% correct. Not bad. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave any and all thoughts and comments about this week of NFL football in the comments down below. I go through once a week or so and try to respond to as many comments as I can. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content.